Okay, I have a new update. I took out pretty much all of the plants that were plastic, all the fake plants, and I put in real plants, except for the red one in the back behind the dragon because it looks like fire. But I added some of these. These are pretty common, and they say they do well in low light, and I don't have a special light. It's just a regular light. I don't know, maybe it gets a couple, you know. Maybe it gets a little bit of UV from the fact that I have a UV light right here. In this tank, there's no iguana. Because she died a couple days ago. Rest in peace. Anyway, yeah, here's a small fern that I have, and these two. The tank, there's not as many hiding places for the newts, which I know they don't like that. But these plants will grow. That's why I only got a couple. And I know they'll space out eventually. Eventually I'll be having so many plants that I'll be able to stretch them out. I did find there actually are a few snails in my tank when I was cleaning it. Probably because I fed them to my newts before, because I find them in my pond. And then I was giving it to them last summer, just the new food. And I guess a couple of them escaped and, survived. Also, when I bought these weren't in a pre-package. Like the fern was in a pre-package with this gel in it that helped it keep moisture and helped it survive. These are in a tank, so these had a few snails on it too. So I might see a small snail population rise. They look like they're the same species, so, might get a few snails here and there around the tank. Doesn't really bother me. For viewing purposes, though, it's more open, so it's easier to see the newts and such. The Otto catfish, they're still gonna hide. One thing I did was I knew that there was a nice shadow right here underneath the basking rock, but there was nothing there, nothing for them to hide under, like the log cave here. So I put a rock there, so they at least have something to hide behind. It has a little shelf at the bottom, so they're probably going to hang out down there in the dark until nighttime. So that'll be nice for them. Also, they have more food to feed on now that I have real plants, because there was a bit of brown algae in here for them to eat. Not enough. I thought they were going to go after the worms. My mistake. But this will provide another form of vegetation for them to feed on, along with the added benefits of, there being, it being more natural, and it's going to take excess nutrients out of the tank. The plants also add more oxygen to the water, and with this Repto filter, it cleans very well. But the water doesn't really move as much. You see, there's not a whole lot of bubbles and stuff right there. I know it's still getting oxygen, but it's just not as much friction as you would see in a regular fish tank. So, that's always a plus. And it gives these snails something more to feed on, so maybe they'll start breeding. If they start breeding, then that'll be another food for the newts. And I won't have to worry about the snails becoming too numerous, because the newts, of course, would keep their numbers down. They can't get rid of all of them, but there wouldn't be so many where the newts wouldn't notice them, because they do eat the snails. The bedfish like the places to hide. I don't know if he's that comfortable with this yet. But these plants will grow, so there will be more hiding places as these grow. This fern will probably split into two eventually. Then I'll probably move another one over here, maybe over here if this strand right here doesn't grow, if it dies, or I don't know, somewhere. But I like what I see so far. Tank is cleaner, and these plants will add a new part to this tank. Now it's like a full ecosystem. Plants will keep the algae from becoming too numerous, and they'll add oxygen. They'll take excess nutrients out, which will cut down the little white worms, which I had a problem with earlier. They provide food for the snails, and the snails provide food for the newts. They can provide another source of food for the auto catfish, and in time they'll grow, and they'll add even more hiding places. So the benefits of having real plants is much more than plastic plants. The only issue with real plants is, of course, if they grow too much, they become too numerous, then you have to, trim them back or separate them, move them around your tank, or give them to your friends, or at some point just throw them out. What I'm going to do with these if they become too numerous is I'm going to put them in my pond in the backyard. With the fern, I'm not too sure what I'll do. Maybe I'll try the same thing, but either way, both of these I don't believe will survive the winter. Maybe this one, not this one because it's tropical, but it will be a nice annual plant to add, and I don't have to spend any money. So that's my new update. Now I have real plants.